everyone, welcome back to Bloom and Create, where we bloom into the best versions of ourselves, creating memories as we go. So we are finally doing plant composition part 2, so if you haven't seen the first one, I recommend you do so. This is a fun video that you can do where you just draw either the same thing as me or something else, and we just learn a little bit about art, do a little bit of art together. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some more things that you can put into your composition to make it better. So we talked a little bit about negative space and positive space and trying to balance between those. So those are definitely things to add. But, and we also talked about texture and shapes. But you can also do different color schemes. You could do like a monotone, which is just one color and just a bunch of different shades of that color. It can really add to like an emotion that you might be feeling about the piece. Like blue would be like really sad. Red would be like angry or passionate. And yeah, so you can kind of play with that. Another thing is lines. So something that's really cool is doing cross hatching. I'll put a picture up of what I mean by cross hatching, but it's basically shading but with lines, so it's really cool to try out. And then also emphasis and movement. These are they kind of work together. So emphasis is like a focal point, something that draws your attention as a viewer, and then movement is, so that grabs your attention. What's the next thing that grabs your attention, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. So kind of where does the eyes move naturally to view the whole piece. So I definitely did some emphasis, some movement, some texture, and some different colors with my piece. Oh, but something about this piece is that it's just, I recommend not doing live plants. This was my first time doing live plants. Usually I just do fake ones, and I've had to change my sketch a couple of times, like maybe 3, at least, because, plants grow and leaves unfurl, and they change from day to day. And so my sketch had to change a little bit. After a while, I was just like, nah, this is just what it's gonna look like, and we're just gonna envision what it looks like. So yeah, recommend that if you're gonna do a live plant composition, do it all in one day because otherwise it gets a little difficult. So that's something I learned in making this video. Okay, so here's the setup, and today we're using gouache paint. Gouache is a super fun medium because it's like if acrylic and watercolor had a baby, like no joke. It's very interesting, and I highly recommend that you do a few test runs with the medium so that you kind of get a feel for how it works, how to use it, and all that good stuff. Pro tip, gouache stains like very easily. So wear a smock or some grub clothes that you don't mind getting dirty. And this is the palette that I'm using, which is literally a Cool Whip container. But it's really convenient because you're already buying this, ingredient, and so might as well recycle it for other purposes. you can use literally any kind of lid that works best for you. And I learned this tip from my grandma. So this is the pot that I'm starting with, and this pot is like a burnt orange color. So I'm using the orange close to it in yellow orchid. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I use this color to give it the burnt look, so to speak, and then regular yellow for the yellow undertones. Color mixing is a super challenging skill to learn that many artists struggle with at first, so if you don't get it right away, it is totally okay. You will get better as you learn and practice more, so don't fret. As you get familiar with the different colors that you have and use on a regular basis, you'll be able to point them out in the different objects that you see, and I recommend that you learn color theory because this will be very helpful in color matching. I have a picture listed. So an example is if your color that you're mixing is too red, you can add a little bit of green to balance it out, and will also make your color darker and more muted. If you don't like this, you can easily fix it by adding more of the other colors that you used or even white. The way that this works is that red and green are complementary colors, and so they can be found on the opposite ends of the color wheel, and so when mixed together they clash, giving it that darker muted tone. So, fun story time. The first time I used gouache was when I was a teacher aide for my high school art teacher. And when she didn't have anything that I needed to do, I could either study or do art. And being the adventurous girl I am, I dabbled with this medium called gouache. And yeah, so it's super fun to be doing it again and teaching you all how to do it as well. Now I'm adding blue, which is the complementary color to orange, and I'm doing this so that I have a darker version of the color that I started with for the rest of the pot. And believe me, y'all, a little bit goes a long way. So just grab the teeny tiniest amount, and I actually ended up using too much blue, so it was looking green in color, and so I had to add a tiny bit of red to counteract that. Another way you can make colors lighter is by adding white, and you can make them darker by adding black like I'm doing for this green pot. Make sure to shake up the gouache tubes really good, because otherwise you will have a sloppy mess like my black gouache paint over there. Make sure to wash your brushes each time you want to change your color, and make sure to refresh your water cup when it gets too dirty, especially if you just rinsed your brush with black paint because it can tamper with your other colors like yellow and white especially. So now I'm going to teach you how to blend. Blending is a very crucial skill to master because it can really elevate your piece. Just take a little bit of white with a dry brush and then take your other color. For me, it is green. Just stroke your brush to blend the colors together, and if it needs a little bit more smoothing or isn't blending very well, you can add a little bit of water to help with this process. You may have to go over this area and continue blending just to get the look that you want. When refining lines, use a smaller brush head and dip it in water just a little bit. Gouache tends to be sticky, so this allows the brush to glide, give you smooth lines, and giving you a nice refined line and edges. Sorry for any shaking that happens in this video. I'm doing this on my phone so that you can see me painting, but it's really hard to do that and do a good job painting. But my mom got me a tripod, which is super cool. I'm gonna use that for the next video that is like this and test it out. Hopefully it works well. As your palette fills up and the paint dries, you can peel the paint off and throw it out. Never ever wash your paint down the drain unless it's your water cup or you're washing your brushes. Here I'm adding yellow to show the sun shining through the leaves, causing that beautiful greenish yellow color, and also adding some highlights with white to really bring life and dimension to the leaves. If you are liking this video so far, make sure to hit the like button and most of all, subscribe. This is obviously the best YouTube channel ever. Don't know why you wouldn't. But anyways, I'm at 2.2k total views, which is amazing. Thank you so much for the support, y'all. And my goal is to get 500 subs, so help me get there. Thank you. I like to wipe the excess paint or water off on a nearby tissue or paper towel. testing which brush would best work for the gradient of the butterfly wings. The first brush was too big and would go outside the lines, so I chose the second one because it hugged the edges of the wings better. And as you can see, I have my colors laid out and I dipped the brush into each color, being wary to have the red and blue on the outside, whereas the yellow is in the middle. And square brushes work way better for this technique because you can have those separation of the colors without them blending too soon. I was a little bit nervous doing this since it was actually my first time. So because of this, I didn't put enough paint on the brush and had to re-dip. And the yellow kind of disappeared into the other colors, so I ended up putting more yellow on so that it would match my composition, my still life more. And continued down the wing with the blue. But overall, not as bad or hard as I thought it would be. For shadows, have it darkest near the object and have it get lighter the farther away you go. Okay, so for some reason, my audio is just not working. I don't understand why, but I will do a voiceover. So here is the final result. I know it took so long to do this, and I appreciate all of your guys' patience in waiting for this video to come out. But in the end, I think it was worth it. Let me know if you guys agree. I just wanted to say thank you so much for the support. Um, I've gotten so many views, so many likes. I'm starting to get more comments now too, which is so nice. I love reading your guys' comments. So keep on flowing. And with that, go plant some seeds and see what your heart grows. Love you, everyone.